Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing wonderful on this fabulous Wednesday. If you were just with me, I had a glitch and I had to stop streaming and go ahead and just fix it. So that happened. But glad to have you back if you guys are back. I am using StreamYard again. So it will ask you to go ahead and be okay with a couple of settings. You don't need to download StreamYard if you want to comment, but if you want your name to be in here, you just got to allow the settings to take over. But today we are here with Braden, and I am really excited to meet him and introduce him to all of my friends. And we are going to jump right into it. As a business owner, are you sick and tired of looking for your targeted audience? And you spend so much time doing it, right? And you search and you connect and you engage. And then I don't know about y'all, but I have looked at some profiles and then I'm intimidated and I'm like, nope, shutting this down. And then you walk away, right? And then you're like, great, but I didn't grow anything. Okay. I don't know. So that's my personal story is I've seen some great profiles and then I just shut down. My upline would tell me to message 20 people a day. I'm not downing my upline. Me and him are still really good friends. That's a lot of time, okay? It's a lot of time to cold message or even just message at all, even your best friends, 20 times a day. And that's not including the follow-ups that go along with it. I had another mentor tell me, he's like, oh, just start with 20 on Monday, and by Friday, you should have a client. I'm like, oh, that sounds awesome too. So with what Braden has, what if you could like leverage the search bar? What if you could send out 100 messages a day? What if you could also follow up with that and you don't have to go through your whole list and it sends out 4 follow-ups for you? Braden, could you go ahead and just kind of tell people what I'm talking about with reaching your targeted audience?
Yeah, thanks, Amber. Thank you again for this opportunity. Super happy to be here. So, the company I'm at is called Connected, Connected with a K, and we are one of the leading companies in LinkedIn lead generation. And what we do is we really help you focus on the relationship. Amber kind of touched on it, but just a few LinkedIn fun facts. First off, if you're not on LinkedIn, get on LinkedIn because people call it professional Facebook, right? It's Facebook without all the politics and all the drama and all that, but great leadership stuff. But there's 800 million users on LinkedIn, so it's impossible to not find someone who's worth talking to for business purposes. Almost 200 million of them are in the U.S., and over 20,000 companies use it to recruit. And then this is the big kicker: 80% of B2B leads come from LinkedIn, right? And sadly, a lot of them are manual, right? You got to go dig and you go dig, like Amber was talking about, right? But Connected is kind of an automation platform that leverages LinkedIn to help you get in front of your target audience more effectively.
Exactly. I'm really excited about that because I went ahead and I started to search the search bar, kind of like how you did, and it didn't do remotely close to what you did. I didn't have any of the numbers or the amount of people in the list that was coming through. And I'm like, oh, okay, what is this whole connected bit about? And I'm really excited to use it. And I just found out that LinkedIn just gave StreamYard permission to stream there. So now it looks like I'm live in 2 places at once, which I'm kind of excited about.
Awesome.
So I need 150 connections though before I can do that. And you kind of know my numbers around the 47s. So how long do you think that it would take somebody like myself who's a go-getter and I want this, but also I'm a busy mom of 3. How long do you think like realistically would it take me to get 150 connections?
Yeah. So keep in mind, I do this, full time. This is what I do during the day. But I'm typically seeing like 20 to 30 new connections every day. So if you take 40 days, you're looking at close to 1,000 connections. Now that's if you're on it and then you have it work through the weekend too. I mean, it is a prospecting tool, so let it do its job. And I have plenty of conversations Monday. But a lot of entrepreneurs, right? We see them in the, sending out 30 to 50 a day. So I would say you're looking at 100 connections, every week.
That would be that would be fabulous. If I could
Yeah.
upload this StreamYard at least by like the end of next week. Nope, take that back because it's a personal week. But by the end of September, I would be totally happy. So, when did you become a part of the business Connected?
Yes, so I started early April. I transitioned out of the logistics and supply chain world. Um, not wasn't the greatest of experiences, and it's kind of a mess if you've read the news at all lately.
Yes. And then you decided to take a chance on yourself because this is an entrepreneur position, correct?
Yes, so it's a sales development rep title. Most people will see it as SDR or BDR if they're familiar with the tech or the sales world. And so basically, I was kind of betting on myself. I was kind of tired of salary every other week. You know, there is a little bit of comfort, but also I wanted something a little bit more. I knew some friends and friends of friends that worked at Connected, and they only had amazing, glowing reviews about it. So took a chance, interviewed, and they're like, "Hey, you want to start tomorrow?" I said, "Yep."
Oh, that's awesome. What
Yeah.
was like your aha moment? Like, what was your big like breakthrough where you're like, you know what, I just want to take a chance on myself, and this I think will fit my personality because.
Yeah. So the personality part was huge, right? Because I'm mostly an introvert. You know, there are things like this where I'm able to, you know, turn it on for a little bit, but then I promise after this I'll be on the couch, you know, watching Netflix and, and recharging. So I was kind of a little concerned doing that, but you know, with the few people I talked to, you know, they're like, "This is the best company I've ever worked for. You know, you're not going to find a better culture out there." That was something that was desperately lacking at my last couple of jobs. And, you know, for the first time, you know, I went home, I told, you know, called my parents and I said, this is like a job I actually enjoy waking up and going to every day.
Oh, I love that. I'm so
Yeah.
happy that you're happy with where you're at. So that's
Yeah.
great. And I love the fact that you know that you always get to like you get to help business owners, and I'm sure you talk to a huge amount of different types of people throughout the
Yep.
day. So
Definitely. Yeah. They're everywhere from the financial industry, recruiting industry, you know, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, business owners. You know, if the people you do business with are on LinkedIn, you know, it's the place for you.
I'm definitely learning that LinkedIn is a huge asset. I just started it like a couple of months ago and I'm like, we'll see. But I'm realizing like a lot of people are like, oh, when I'm out and about and I'm networking, they're like, oh, what's your LinkedIn? Let me get LinkedIn with you. And I'm like, oh, this apparently, yeah, like you said, is an adult Facebook. And I'm like, oh, I better get with the program here. So So yeah, I feel a little bit behind, but we'll get caught up there. I'm really excited about this, and I am super excited to work with you on this, and you know, learn the program and watch the video you're going to send me and how to go ahead and leverage that toolbar. So, like I said, if you guys are totally sick of searching for your targeted audience, I would definitely connect with Braden. Braden, can I put all of your links and everything up like I did yesterday
Yeah.
and tag it to this?
I can actually do that right now if you would like me to.
Yeah, I think that works.
Okay,
Yeah, you might be able to leave a comment.
sure. Um,
So yeah, that would be great.
cool. I will throw that in here real quick. You know, basically, it's super simple. We try to make it as simple as possible because it doesn't need to be rocket science. So basically, we break it down into three simple steps. Right, finding your target audience. Right, there's a search bar up on that top left corner of LinkedIn. Right, let's leverage it to the best of our ability to make sure that the list we're building is the people that we want to be talking to. Right, so if you work best with business owners and entrepreneurs, right, we can, you know, we can search and get a list of people in your backyard that are like that. Right, maybe you want to be talking to realtors or brokers and mortgage companies. Right, we can, you know, we can search by industry. Right, so we define that target audience, and then we will throw it into our connected software. Right, the software will then reach out to that list of people that we generated on a per daily basis, right? So we can go up to 100, like what we said, per day. You can go 20 to 30 if you can't use it, full time, right? Because if you're on your own business, right, don't run the full 100 because that's not wise. You're going to be drowning in messages, and you're like, Braden, I need to pause my account because I got so many people, right? We've had people like that.
That reminds me, time out really quick, because that was huge to me as a mom, and then also I'm watching, the money that I'm spending on my overhead. That was huge to me. Could you please break down the pause?
Yeah. So we don't believe in contracts because contracts suck. If a lead generation company approaches you and says, we'll lock you in for 12 months, you run, right? So we
Mhm.
so our service is just $89 a month. Um, you can pause or stop at any time, right? It's just a month to month basis. So if you want to use it for 3 or 4 months, let's just say, you have something going on in your life, right? And you're taking a step back for a couple months on your business, or maybe you're taking like a 2 week backpacking trip through Europe, right? You can hit me up, say, hey, I want to pause my account. We won't pause you for that month, or we won't charge you for that month, and then pick it up the next month when you get back.
I love that. I really do. And then, okay, so this sounds like really technical and really tech savvy, but when you and I were speaking, you said that your oldest client was 75.
Yeah.
How is he doing with all the technology and keeping up?
Really good actually. So I try to do consultations with all of my customers just to make sure they're on the track to success, because it's all about relationships first off, and then two, when we set it up, he focused on a specific niche of business. So we built that target list. You reach out to him. We're not pitching off the bat at all because don't do that. It's bad business. So he just started talking to him, in the LinkedIn inbox. He started he started chatting away, and then he hit me up about a month later. He said, "Hey, I'm going to pause. I'm going on vacation, but I just turned two of these connections into new coaching clients." And in the coaching business, I mean, you don't need a large quantity of people to be able to sustain yourself financially. So you know depending on your sales cycle and all that, right? Whether it's 2 or 20, right? You just get the volume you need. You build relationships, and if you have a way to fill the pain, then that's your ticket in.
That's awesome. I love that. And I love the fact that, if a 75-year-old can do it, I think a 31-year-old can do it. So,
Right.
so I'm really excited about that. Braden, is there anything else you can tell us about this program? Maybe like one specific thing that got you really excited about this?
Yeah. A lot of people say you got to be an extrovert to be in sales, and that's not necessarily true because anyone can sit behind a keyboard and type, right? And anybody can sit behind a keyboard and research companies and be able to, craft messages, right? But it's important to be yourself, right? Don't, like I said, like don't pitch right off the bat. Get to know people, ask them questions, invite them to discovery calls. Those are the things that will help you build relationships. And even though they may not be a good fit, they may know someone who's a good fit, or they may know 4 or 5 people who are a good fit, right? And then you can get that. I think the single biggest thing about our tool, I'm not sure how caught up you are with what's going on the internet, but the third party data is about to become illegal in the US. So that means big marketing companies can only advertise to the people that they have their data. So one of the things our tool does when they connect with people is it will scrape their info off of their LinkedIn profile. So their email, their phone number, their websites, their scheduling links, right? It'll pull all of that. And we have like a mini CRM inside of our tool, right? We have native integrations to like Salesforce, HubSpot, Pipedrive, a bunch of other ones. We also do Zapier to integrate with anything else. But it'll scrape all that information so it's there for your disposal for you to use they legally opted in to being connected with you, so you have their information. So now you can just say, pick up the phone, be like, hey Joe, this is Braden, we just connected on LinkedIn, thought I'd shoot you a call. Something I'm trying to do is get to know my connections a little bit better. You have 3 minutes, find out what's going on.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. That is kind of weird. I didn't know that the third connection was going to be illegal.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah. So that's really cool that this should help with that. So before it becomes illegal. So.
Yeah. So all the information that Facebook is listening, they are listening, and they're using
Oh,
that.
sure.
So thankfully
Yeah.
that's starting to go away.
Yeah, after I got off the phone call today, it was so funny because, yeah, as soon as I started scrolling through Facebook, it was like, oh, you wanted to know about analytics, I think is the word. And I got like a whole bunch of ads on how to track my analytics. I'm like, oh my gosh, Facebook, shut it down. So, sorry, sidebar there. But yes. Well, like I said, yes, if you guys are looking for your target audience, I definitely suggest hooking up with Braden and getting all your questions answered, just having a discovery call at least to make sure you understand this. And I'm excited to rock and roll with this after I get back from vacation.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
with that, oh,
Um,
sorry.
yeah, no, I dropped some links down there. The first one is a visual demonstration of how we do what we do. It's by our chief revenue officer. He created just a 5-minute video of the process of building out, a sequence inside of Connected. And then I put my LinkedIn there if anyone wants to connect on LinkedIn. And then I also put my HubSpot link if you want to get together, learn more about Connected, or maybe you just want to get started after seeing tonight. I'm happy to help you out.
That is awesome. Well, thank you so much for dropping all those links. Those are totally useful. So, thank you.
Absolutely.
Alrighty. Well, then, yeah, with that, I'll go ahead and sign out. And I am Amber McCarty with Meticulous Engagements, where it's my business to get to know your business so I can keep sharing your business with the world. All right, guys. With that, have a good night and connect with Braden later. All right.
Thanks, Amber.
Thanks, son.